Good morning, Lorcana Goons. We're here with another top 8 deck list. I'm Kevin here with Bag. Say what's up.
What's up, Lorcana Goons? We are back again with another top 8. I'm joining you here live from the cardio, like always, except for the last video where we did the first IRL stream together.
Oh yeah, and
But nonetheless, we're gonna go into the top 8 right now.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Mushu Report. If you don't know Mushu Report, they are a website and account that posts a lot of Lorcana news. Keep up with them. They posted the lists first. They got it directly from the tournament organizers, which is actually based in France, I believe. Well, I'm just assuming because of the language barrier. But I think it's French. They posted it on their Dreamborn, and then Mushu Report posted it on his site. We got the information. We made it on our Dreamborn, and then we put this stuff together. So shout out to everybody involved getting the information. I really appreciate that. But let's get into this. Look at this top 8 chart that Bag made for us. Half of it is Amber Steele, bro. What do you think?
I think it's a crazy change from used to be the Ruby Amethyst on that side, and now we see it shifting to the lower amount on the top 8. Interesting to see the Amber Steele is the majority here because, as you know, in the previous top 8s, it was definitely in there, but it was definitely not winning. So I'm excited to see what they did differently this time, or if it was just simply them piloting it properly.
Yeah, it could be a variety of reasons. It could be more people are playing that deck. It could be a variation of like who was piloting that deck. Who knows what the European scene is like compared to like the United States, right? Because we're just based in the U.S. or North America, I guess you could say. But even then, like it's still kind of crazy to see that drastic shift because we were so used to seeing a dominance of Ruby Amethyst, and then even then the Amber Steel list they're a little different too most of the time. They're not just all the same deck list like the way Ruby Amethyst was. But
I also want to add in here that we're seeing Sapphire Amethyst. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time we're seeing this color combination in the top 8.
No, I know we've seen it before. Remember that dude that ran Scar in his deck, the blue Scar? He had it in the top 8. It was a smaller tournament.
It was with Amethyst and Sapphire?
Yes. And I do also want to mention that this is the biggest tournament that we have to date. 128 players in this tournament. So as far as I'm concerned, this is the biggest tournament that I've seen, like IRL, right? So that's crazy. Yep. So let's go ahead and get into this top 8 breakdown with our first Zundo. It's top 8. By the way, also, they played out top 8, and in top 4, they played it out as well. So we do have a first and second place in this list. So yeah, everything,
Let's go.
yeah. We got it all.
Biggest tournament, and we got a winner.
Yeah, biggest tournament.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, so okay, let's get into this turquoise list. This is we've seen similar lists like this before, trending on like the Lorcana HQ pages. We saw Bjornfa post stuff like this. There was another tournament like this on the topic that happened in Austin that had a deck like this. I love this deck because it's very budget friendly. This version is playing Hades, and John Silver, but you can take those out and not play those cards. I think too.
This is really a zoo deck right here. 100% zoo deck. It's just like you're dropping the creatures out, getting them on the board, and just scaring your opponent early on. Got the Eye of the Fates there to just reinforce the scariness. And you have a lot of good targets with that Eye of the Fate to give that extra lore to it. It's an insane deck.
For those people who aren't familiar with like terms like zoo, what does that mean?
Zoo, similar, is just kind of like in other card games. You're just playing a lot of creatures, really playing a creature-heavy deck and just getting stuff on board and playing on curve.
Characters,
if I'm correct.
Okay, so you just a flood of a variety of characters, and you're kind of minimizing on like actions and songs, support cards. It really is only 4 different cards you're playing, other than a bunch of characters, right? There's a lot of inkables in this Sapphire deck, which I like because one of the issues in Sapphire that I always find is that you draw a lot of uninkables, and then you even have a little bit of ramp with the Mickey there, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
Eye of the Fates.
And don't forget the one jump ahead we throw in there as well as the Grammatala, because not only is this zoo, you're getting those bodies, you're still able to ramp a little bit, which I do like.
Yeah, yep. Eye of the Fates, and then when ramping into Maleficent, I think is so good right now. But yeah, the 5 guys deck, I like it. I like the
strong deck. Strong deck. It's got the removal you need. It's got the bodies you need. It's got some draw power. Like, I feel like this has, if there's pillars in Lorcana, this has a majority of those pillars.
Yeah, yep, exactly. But yeah, congrats to you, Zundo, on your top 8. We're going to this next list. This is also top 8. This is the Sapphire Amethyst you were asking about. Very
Yep.
interesting list. We got some Dr. Facilier combos in here. I like to
My
see that.
favorite card.
Yeah, I love to
That's
say
my
that.
favorite card.
Really, I
Favorite
like.
card. This deck is crazy. I want to know how that Dr. Facilier worked with the Grammatala, because obviously you want to put that Grammatala into the
Ooh,
ink zone.
ooh, man.
So, I mean, obviously you're probably just getting rid of that early, but awesome color combination. Sapphire Amethyst looks crazy together.
Mhm.
And then you have a lot of power cards in here.
I know this isn't really relevant to the cards, but like this color hue kind of reminds me of
Yeah.
like yogurt. You know what I mean? Like the
Gogurt.
like Gogurt. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's the Yo Play mixed berries.
yep, exactly. That alone I think is a reason to play this deck. At least on Pixelborn, I'm gonna try it out. I no, but I want to point out some cool stuff that I do think is awesome. There's not a lot of ramping in this version outside of just you
Yeah.
playing Belle, Mickey, and Grandma Tala. And we always forget.
Well, they have one jump ahead.
Oh, there is one jump ahead. We do forget to talk about Bell a lot. I forget to mention that Bell in other videos is a resource for ink also. That's really good. But yeah, one jump ahead seems like it's seeing a
I
lot
would
of
actually
play.
argue this is a lot of ramp because you got the Tala, the Mickey, the Bill, and the
Yeah,
one jump ahead.
you know you're right. I just
So
was looking at the one
he
jump.
did squeeze it in. He
Yeah.
did squeeze it in, but it doesn't seem like too much ramp either. It looks like just like perfect with this deck.
And no fishbone quill. It's more using your characters
It's a little scary.
or your songs. And then I do want to mention for Ursula. It's kind of nice. I think Ursula is really underrated.
Really
Seeing
want to see that.
Yeah, four. Yeah, four of them. Love it. Next list though. Next list we have DD Falcon. This is gonna be a Amethyst Emerald deck. Congrats to you on your top 8. And this is very similar to the Illumiteers list that we saw from Bro that topped that Austin tournament. It has the one Peter Pan. It has the one Befuddle. The Three Mothers Knows Best. This is becoming a staple in the meta right now. Have you noticed that?
I do wanna say something though. Is there no big genie and they're only playing the little genie?
Yeah, well, you can't even shift the 6 cost genie into this genie, but yeah, correct. There's no 6 cost genie in
Yeah,
this build.
that's interesting. He swapped them. I wonder what they swapped them. I wonder what the reasoning was. Like they just wanted that body early on, 2 mana, 2/3, or 2 ink, 2/3.
Yeah, I'm starting to think there's something going on with tournament meta where you need that genie because this isn't the first time we've
Yeah.
seen it, right? Maybe it's probably good for the mirror match. Maybe it's probably good for the mid range decks, like you're running into the princess
Or
mid range.
I could see it where it's sometimes you just need a creature on there to clear things in this deck because I have been playing this. So I guess getting rid of the genie like in trades is good with the Megara. So I'm just curious if that's the reason. If so, I can see the value in it because there is instances where you want to trade, but you don't want to get rid of those lures.
Yeah. That makes sense. The extra willpower that Genie has, in this deck probably does
Yeah.
stack a little bit. But yeah, that's one of the newer things I've seen in this deck is that we're seeing Genies be played. I wonder if maybe you could fit in a second Peter Pan and cut Genie to 2,
Yeah.
just because the ratio is bugging me. But
I
I mean,
love that Peter Pan.
yeah, I
And
know I
some
like
people
Peter
still
Pan.
aren't playing it.
Mhm.
Some people still aren't playing it. I get it. It costs a lot of ink, not a lot of stats, no lore, but you really need that evasive. Like you don't understand unless you're playing the deck.
Yeah, it's like early evasive, and that's probably why they didn't go with the 6 drop Genie for the later evasive.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to end the game pretty early here.
Yeah.
And I have noticed in this deck, you are holding those genies in your hand for a while.
Yeah,
bigger genies?
and you don't even. It's when you draw them. It's when you mulligan into them on night. And
Yeah.
that's very unfortunate. So that probably an issue too. The uninkable count, right? So
Yeah.
maybe
It's a strong card though.
maybe small genie
Very
is the
strong
way.
card, but I don't know like if it's strong enough to keep in the deck. Apparently they thought it was not.
All
And I
right.
like it. I like the list.
Okay.
Something different.
Let's go to the next list. So these next 4 are going to be Amber Steel. These are the Amber Steel lists that we got going on here. We have Morgan, top 4. This is going to be Amber
Standard list.
Steel. It's kind of mid range. It's actually not standard. I was gonna say because it's
I think it's pretty standard.
it's the little guy deck. It has the 1 cost characters, right? But then you look through the deck and it has the Cerberus and the Hans, and then you keep going and we still have a whole new world and Lantern. So it has a little bit of everything. Most of the time we don't see the Cerberus in the whole new world in the same deck. You know what I mean? I don't know if you really know. At least that's how I've been learning to
the only difference I see in this really is that he's actually added the You Have Forgotten Me and Cerberus in this.
What?
But other than that, I've seen this pretty similar. I think.
Well, I feel like because here's the thing in the rush deck, you normally don't you normally play like more one ink characters. Like you have to max out on 4 hook. People are playing 2 LeFou for the Simba that the that draws a card. Or sometimes they're playing Goons. Yeah, like me, I'm playing Goons. But I'm not like in that version of the deck. You normally don't see the Hans in it. You don't have room for 3 Cerberus. So it is a hybrid.
Yeah.
It's definitely a hybrid
Is
mix.
this is more than 60,
And
isn't it?
no, it's I believe it might be. It doesn't have the count here, but it's on my Dreamborn account. It doesn't have the count here. Some of these are more, this might be like 63 cards, I believe. Yeah, it's more than 60, and he's not playing Carefree Surfer Stitch. That's one thing I want to point out too, right? He's playing the mid range kind of package, but there's no Carefree Surfer Stitch. The only draw power you
I'm
get is
curious about that.
from Rapunzel and your Rockstar Stitch. So it's like a hybrid.
Curious about that
Mhm.
because the Surfer Stitch are strong in a deck like this. But I mean, it is coming out later. You are playing the little guys still, so I can see it being cut, and you could shift the Rockstar Stitch. So
Yeah, so this is a little different. Congrats to Morgan on this top 4. This is a build I want to try because I don't have any Surfer Stitches, but I have like most of these cards minus 1 Rapunzel, right? So I can kind of make this at home right now and take it to local. So I'm gonna try this out myself. Actually, I'm glad I saw
similar
this list
deck
today.
next. I
Yeah,
think it's
similar, yes, but
looks just like
but
looks
this
just like it.
but this one does have Carefree Surfer Stitch. It has 2. This
Yeah,
is by Matignase Magnet you top 4. Congratulations. So we got 3 Simbas in this one though. I believe this one is 60
maxed out
cards.
hooks.
Maxed out on the hooks, only got 3 Simbas, 4 Rapunzel, and then just a variety of ratio in this mid-range area from 2 Hans, 3 Beasts, 2 Cerberus. You really just gotta kind of mix up your numbers around. But again, they're playing
Yeah,
a whole new world at 3, and the last list was playing a whole new world at 3. So
interesting to see that the top 4 has a little bit of a different type of ratios. Like we're playing a lot more 2s and 3s of, whereas most of the decks we just see 4 or 3 of. So
mhm, mhm.
they did want to fit a lot of other cards in here.
Obviously the staples are for Eric, for Ariel, for Tinkerbell, and
Yeah,
then be our guest and stuff like that. But then you kind of have to play around with how many you're gonna play between Rockstar Stitch, Surfer Stitch. Um,
yeah.
I'm still surprised to see Whole New World in combination with all the other cards. Usually I see it cut out in the last builds we've been doing, like this version, for
Well,
example.
I mean,
This is
in this
the
type of deck, it looks like everything is inkable except those songs, right?
Lantern. No, Lantern isn't
And
inkable as
Lantern,
well.
obviously.
Lilo,
All this non
Lilo,
stuff right there at the bottom.
Lilo as well. But let's go to
And it's only
the
about 9 cards that are uninkable. So I think the whole new world there makes sense.
But let's go to the next list, which is the first place list, and maybe they'll convince you otherwise if I can't convince you, because this first place list is not playing Whole New World. This is like
They're playing the Hades also, though.
yeah, this is the mid range that I was more talking about that I'm used to seeing, which is a very small count of one and 2 ink characters, but you're kind of playing a lot higher count for 3, 4, 5, 6 drops even. We normally see Kronk, but this dude is Landstar. Congrats to your first place, Landstark, on this 128-person tournament. Not playing Whole New World, not playing the Kronk, not playing Rockstar Stitch. It's just very heavy mid range with You Have Forgotten Me. But look, he's playing 3 cannons. I wonder how far those 3 cannons went. Fire the cannons.
I think they went pretty far, especially in the meta we're seeing right now. Those cannons, those 2 damages for 1 ink, have been coming in clutch for me. So I can only imagine in a deck like this, where you're just really cycling through your cards, you're really keeping stuff on board, and you're just luring. So you could get rid of a lot of problematic creatures, especially against Emerald. Basically clears almost all of their 2 lore early drops.
Yeah, I can imagine that it's really good against the Amethyst deck as well. The Emerald Amethyst we've been seeing is trending. Fire the cannons, just one shots something like Flynn Rider. Oftentimes
Yeah.
you can probably bump your Ariel into a Cheshire Cat and then fire the cannons a Cheshire Cat. But
Yep.
yeah, against the Emerald decks that have been popping up a lot, fire the cannons probably helps a lot, and it's one of the few uninkables in this deck. So the only uninkables you're playing in this deck are Hades, Fire the the cannons, and grab your swords. So there is no room for something like a whole new world, but you have to max out on Surfer Stitch and Rapunzel to make sure you're still drawing cards. But yeah, definitely like the spicy Fire the Cannons deck. And he's not playing the hook that adds back the Fire the Cannons because I don't think that card is
Yeah.
that good either. So I'm glad to not see that because it just seems like that card isn't good. But Fire the Cannons is honestly not a bad card. So
I'm still anticipating seeing the shift hook in these top 8s because I don't know. I really like that card. So hopefully we see someone like top of that again.
not my favorite, the shift hook, but now we have our other top 8 Amber Steel. Sorry, this is out of order. This is Zigwil. They went over and got a top 8 with Amber Steel. It's very similar to the other lists that we were
Yeah.
just seeing.
He just threw in that Surfer Stitch, so they were like, I need that one.
Yeah, he's like,
I cannot have it in there.
I need that one Surfer Stitch. I need the one Surfer Stitch there for sure. It's definitely the single thing that's a little different there, and he's just playing for a whole new world. I wanna know, man. How often did that Surfer Stitch get inked? How often did you play it? When did it really come into when was it? How important was it?
Let's ask the real questions here because we know we didn't do that if we're playing it at one. I want to know how many times you kept it in your hand, being like, I'm gonna summon this Surfer Stitch. That's
Yeah,
what I
right.
want to know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't, right? I'm pretty sure if you just have it, even though it's the one in your deck, you just ink it. Like if you need to ink it, right?
Exactly. That's what you're supposed to do. But I want to know where you're just like, maybe I just hold it and just play it because it's such a good card.
All right, and then the last deck that I want to go
I think that was it,
over.
right?
No, we have one more. It's a Broom Goon deck. Second
Second
place.
place.
Second place, Midazo. Over here with the Broom Goons, we got 3 Magic Broom, 1 Mickey. It's a Ruby Amethyst deck. Everybody's favorite. What do you think? Some interesting ratios.
Interesting to see them put the one Mickey in there. How often does the Mickey come? Let's all be honest with each other. Let's all be honest with Disney Lorcana. We just like the brooms at this point.
Yeah.
The Mickey's is just there just to say we have the Mickey at that point. But it clearly worked out for them since second place, and it was only Ruby Amethyst in the top 4.
Yep. Top only Ruby Amethyst in top 8 actually, which is kind of
Oh,
wild.
actually, yeah, this is
Only
kind
Ruby
of a sleeper
Amethyst.
deck out of nowhere. Huh?
Only Ruby Amethyst in top 8, man. Congrats too. That's why I even went ahead and made him with the enchanting cards because this guy's big flexing on all the other Ruby Amethysts that were probably in that tournament, right? Like he's the only one that made it. And then there's 3 Befuddle in the deck. Again, I want to point out certain things that are probably just changing in the builds because of the amount of Emerald Amethyst you're probably seeing. So 3 Befuddle's good. There's more evasives like the BLT Mickey.
Don't forget that they're changing the ratios on these removals now because we're seeing a lot of people either drop Be Prepared to 2 or drop the Dragonfire to 2, and we've seen it in this one as well. Dragonfire 2, Be Prepared 4.
So
he's really just looking for that big board removal. He's not really worried about spot removal, it seems like. So, interesting deck. And you can recycle it with the broom, so we have a lot of options here.
Yeah, one more thing is that they're not playing Cauldron, your favorite card. They're not playing Cauldron. I think that's a little wild. I love Cauldron, but who knows, But yeah, congrats.
I think with a deck like this, a little more consistency, so you're always gonna have a card to play that's gonna net you some advantage, whether it be the evasive Goofies or the Maleficent to draw, you're always gonna have something. So I could see not needing the Cauldron here. I just love that card. I think it's good.
No, yeah, I think it's great too. Overall, all these deck lists are great. Very interesting to see. We got some budget-friendly ones, and then we got some classics right here that are barely making it to the top 8 cut, man. But this has been an interesting top 8 breakdown. This is the biggest tournament we've had to date. Really glad I got to break it down. Shout out to Mushu Report. Shout out to everybody who was involved in putting the tournament together and whatnot, and everybody watching. What do you think, Slump? Any opinions on this before we go?
I just like to say that good to see the diversity. I say that now, but making the charts kind of sucks because there's a lot of decks, but in the end, it looks good. It looks good for the game. It looks good for the future of Lorcana. So I'm going to just say keep it up. All the players revolutionizing the game with these decks.
Yep, yep. Always good to see. Always good to see some meta innovation, some changes, man. But yeah, that has been the top 8 for this French tournament, Octogones convention. 128 players. Thank you guys for watching. If you're a Lorcana goon, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more Lorcana content and for news and whatnot. And
Don't
follow
forget to
us.
follow us on every social media. We have everything: TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We have it all. We have all the Goon content for you, all the Lorcana content for you. And stay tuned for the next top 8. We're going to be doing these all the time.
All right, you goons have a good rest of your week. We'll see you later.